Hello, 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 and welcome to Rainbows Rising, where we ascend together. I'm your host, Rainbow Raaja. This month we're talking about finances, financial security, money matters, and I have brought someone who has figured it out. He's got it all figured out. He's figured out the path to success. And we have Matthew Learning on with us today. Welcome, Matthew.
Hello, Rainbow and audience. Very happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to get started because this is something that's on literally everybody's mind. No matter where you are in the chain of command of finances, everybody's focused on this one thing and that big question, does money equate to happiness?
Ooh, that's a great question. We can start with that.
Yeah. You can tell us a little bit about yourself and what, how you found success. Like
Sure.
I'm sure that's a story, right?
Yeah, let's do this. Great to be here on this show. So, how I found success and who am I? So, I'm 32. I live in Canada. I live on the West Coast on Vancouver Island in a beautiful little city called Victoria. Now, I didn't grow up here. I grew up in the middle of Canada in the prairies in a little tiny town. And all my life, I'd been an entrepreneur. I used to go to the grocery store and buy chocolate bars for 75 cents. That's what they used to cost. And then I'd bring a bag of them to my school in grade 6, 7, and 8 and sell them for $1 because I made a quarter on every bar. Yeah. So I did this all the time until, the principal of the school kicked us out of doing that and said, we have a contract with Pepsi Cola. And if they found out you were selling candy at my school, we get, in trouble. So, but I'd always find a way through to sell and play with money and do this stuff. Now, when I turned 17, my dad said, go get a job. And I listened. So I went and got a job. And so for about 10 years, maybe 11 or 12 years, in my 20s, I worked at all sorts of jobs doing sales for electronics. And I worked in a photo lab, and I was a gardener and a landscaper, and I did door-to-door sales. I did all sorts of stuff. But then I moved out here to the West Coast 6, 7 years ago now. And because I was capped, we're at my hometown of Winnipeg. No more, nothing here for me. I've learned all I can learn. So I came out to the West Coast, knowing that there's spirituality and there's business people. And I wanted both of those. So I came out here, lived in a tent under an apple tree in my cousin's backyard for a few months. Apples would fall down in the rainstorms, but I loved it because I was an adventurer. And I made my way to where I'm at now, which is managing an extremely luxurious $1.5 million home where life is good. Let's put it that way. I have multiple streams of income on the internet. And though I love apple trees, I no longer have to live under them. So I've gone from both sides. I've played in both sides of the spectrum. And I can tell everyone that my experience or my results are absolutely based on my beliefs, my thinking, and all that jazz, right? We all know that, but I'll talk about that more today. So that's a little bit of my background. You asked me how I found success, and I have this funny image of me like walking through the woods and looking under a rock, and oh, there it is. Which is
Well,
not how it
it
was.
almost sounds like all the prosperity falling from those apples, There's a lot of symbolism there.
You're right. And that basically is the answer. See, many people would be under the apple tree and go, oh, God, how am I going to sleep? And these stupid apples, and I'm going to step on them when I come out of my tent.
They keep
And
knocking my tent poles down.
They're knocking my tent poles down, right? But that, of course, as you know, that wasn't my thinking. My thinking was, wow, this is so cool. Like,
free food.
What a great noise, free food. Like, wow, what a storm. Isn't life amazing? So bottom line, where one finds success is in between their two ears, the 6 inches in between their ears, right?
Their brain?
Yeah. One's thinking, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The brain. Now, we're going to go deeper than that. We're going to take the submarine down throughout our podcast here and go to the heart and the body and the biology and find real reasons why we are or aren't successful. But it starts with the thinking. Mm-hmm.
Now, we talked, me and the audience. I mean, I talked to the audience. I hope you guys were doing the work while listening. we talked about some tips about money memories and your relationship with money based on how your parents handled money, how they viewed money. I talked a little bit to the audience about how maybe some of the core issues I have with money is because my parents used money to like determine who the head of the household was. So they always complained about never having money, but then they were constantly like, I pay for more. No, I pay for more. I have, like you didn't pay for anything last month. And there was always this constant bickering and like whose wallet was bigger than the other person's. And that always left like such a sour taste in my mouth. I never wanted to get a job because I didn't want to fight with people about money.
There you go.
Sounded like such a tedious task. Like, who cares? Who cares how much money you have?
Exactly right. And think about a sour taste. Like if you chew on a cockroach or you put a piece of dung or something bad in your mouth, right? Like,
why you picked like the worst ones in all the universe? Why?
Intentionally, my friend. I want the people to get a taste. The whole point is a sour taste, whether it's sour, sweet, or bitter. You know what? Doesn't matter. But the point is, there's a pungent taste of a bad experience, and it's hard to get it out. That's the point. It's hard to get out.
So how, we did talk about how they can dissect that. You must have had parents with pretty healthy money relationships.
Not at all.
No. How did you flip that thinking then?
Tons of work. I'll explain. First, I'm going to give everyone a quote. Okay, and this is going to be a linchpin quote for everyone. You asked, we posed the question, does money lead to happiness? There's a fellow named Ken Honda, okay, from Japan. He wrote a book called Happy Money. Okay, highly recommend it. And one of his quotes says this, I'm going to read it from my website. It's those who figure out how to change their attitude towards and their relationship with money by healing their past wounds associated with money, who seem to feel the wealthiest, regardless of what they have. Right? Who seem to feel the wealthiest, regardless of what they have. So there's a link in there, and he says it really well, and this is how I feel too. Is I've had times with no money. Was it December, January? Back in September, I had a situation where I had a big gig with someone. They were like my autumn paycheck. Okay, that's one client, someone I knew, trusted. We did all the work, and when they were supposed to pay, they didn't pay. I thought, you kidding? Come on, you're like of all the people. And there's some weird shadow came out of them around lying and all this stuff. And I still haven't been paid, by the way. But long story short, I was screwed. And I had to get very creative. And this is a key answer to you and everyone who says, how do you succeed with money? Creativity is very important. I had no money. I'm like, well, I can borrow from this person. And I better get to work and sell a bunch of stuff. And it happened. And now I'm doing good again. So, but what I'm trying to say is, even when I had little in that moment, I still felt wealthy.
So, it sounds like you got resourceful and you had people in your life that you really could depend on to kind of, give you a break and support you in a moment where you were let down by someone else. I'm sure there's people out there who feel very alone, who maybe don't have those kinds of resources at hand, to like kind of lean into. Like, what about those people? What are, you can get creative. Of course, we can all hop on Amazon, sell our video games, sell everything in the garage. You get super resourceful. There's lots and lots of things to do. But, like, let's say you're a homeless person, you got nothing but the stuff on your back. What then? Like how do they shift that into a life they can feel safe in? Because I think really money has equated more than just happiness and luxury. And I think it really stems down to this basic need, this basic fear-based need of feeling safe and not having to worry about tomorrow, which is a very primal need that money has tapped into, that money is now our communication for. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but
it's great. No, it's a deep topic, right? So we'll flush it out here as we chat. For the people listening, it's worthwhile listening. It's a deep topic. So the truth is, not everyone can. in this lifetime. Maybe it's the
Yeah.
karma or it's the energy, not everyone can. So what I'd say to a homeless person, I'd say, I'll spend a couple hours at the beach. I'll tell you all my best stuff. And all I can say is I hope you use it. Right? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But that said, not everyone can. That's the truth. Not everyone can go to the Olympics for high jump. Not
Yep.
everyone can get out of the karma of the money belief stuff either.
Okay. So for those they're passionate of shifting this mentality, where's a good place to start? Because here we are.
Yep.
This is a free resource. I want this information to be as accessible. That's why I started this podcast is
Yep.
I really want to help people. My core
Good.
heart is to give people information that is
Good.
not so easily accessible.
Good.
Right.
So here's a book that you're going to want to read or do the audiobook. It's called Busting Loose from the Money Game. Okay. Busting Loose from the Money Game by a fellow named Robert Scheinfeld. Okay. This book 5 years ago did it for me. Now there's a ton of things that did it for me. It's all a collection of different processes over time, but this book actually shattered my beliefs about money. And it gives you a game to play with yourself in life.
Oh yeah, I love that mentality. That's the kind of mentality I have is if I can make this fun, how do I do that?
And that's what you'll find in this book.
Great.
So
just give us a basic kind of in a nutshell, what to expect if we were to take these book recommendations. You've already recommended us Happy Money by
Ken Honda.
Yeah. And now we've got Breaking Loose from the Money Game, right?
Yep. Robert Scheinfeld. Yep. Okay. Here's a synopsis. And it's such a profound spiritual truth. I do a lot of groups online that are not money based, purely wisdom, deep, profound spiritual knowledge. And what Robert talks about in his book lines up with the deepest, most ancient truths. So I love this stuff. Here we go. The synopsis is, we live in an eternal universe, an infinite universe, and God put us here. Okay, it's not a religious book, by the way. The word they use is God. You call it whatever you want. But life put us here. And the game is to remember our infinite selves. That's the game. Okay, and the idea in the book is money, and more importantly, the lack of money or the feeling of lack of money, the feeling of scarcity is the, how do I say? It's one of the prime, how do I say this? It's one of the prime gifts or opportunities inside the game to beat the game.
So it's the incentive.
Is it the incentive?
Or is it an obstacle?
It's all three. It's incentive, obstacle, and opportunity all at once.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it totally depends on how you use this item. Like if I'm thinking a video game, right? It's almost like that question box that Mario jumps and hits his head on and you don't know what's going to pop out kind of thing.
Sure. Right? So in the game of life, as Robert says it, it's just like that. But he teaches you, like with real teachings, real processes, how to determine what does pop out of the box. You get to decide what pops out of the box, and he teaches you how to, but they call it an egg. They call it cracking the egg. And so when you learn how to crack the egg properly and determine what's going to come out of the egg, it is the tool to remember your infinite self and the infinite nature of everything. And that destroys the limiting beliefs, because money has nothing to do with it. It's just limiting beliefs about the nature of reality. Money is just this scapegoat little currency thing we use on top of it.
It's literally a piece of plastic.
The piece of plastic, there's nothing to it.
A piece of plastic now that we use credit cards, because nobody really uses cash anymore, right?
That's right. So that's a synopsis of the book in a super short form. It becomes a game. You learn through process how to beat the game. It's super fun. And you never have to feel lack again.
I love that. It almost sounds like you found the Easter egg of the game of life, right? The Easter eggs are like little tiny, little like trolls or little like extras that are put in video games or movies.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's
Never mind.
many. There's many.
I'm
Easter
just
eggs.
using synchronicities. I'm like, oh, this is great.
It's fun. No, there's a lot of Easter eggs, but that is one.
Great.
That
You
is
hear
one.
that, you guys? Life hack. Life hack.
Life
Go
hack.
read the book.
Oh, read that book and then share it with a friend that you love who's also stuck.
So, we've we've just skirted along the issue of financial lack and financial security. And like what's the difference between financial security, financial success, and like just kind of I don't know, like
Good question.
finding your place in the universe, that gooey ooey space that we all yearn so deeply to find, where we just don't ever have to worry. Eden, where's Eden?
Eden, let's talk about it. Hold on. So we got financial success.
Financial success,
Financial
security,
security,
and then the gooey ooey center.
Gooey ooey Eden.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about the last one first.
All right.
Then the other two, then we'll go back to the last one.
Great.
And I'm also going to ask you what you think about this stuff too. Ooey gooey Eden.
Yeah, that was just my on the spot word.
No, yeah. So there's really only one place that exists. Okay. Insert cliche here, right? Living in the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Living in the moment. Right? You can say that in many ways, but that's where it is. Where do you find ooey gooey Eden? Right here, in the moment.
Only in the present, in the second that is passing right now as I speak. Well, the present where you're listening right now.
That's right.
We're living.
That's Eden. That's the ooey gooey right there, right now.
Exactly.
So we'll come back to that one. Now I want to ask you. You tell us, Rainbow, what's the difference between financial success or financial security?
Well, you can have financial success, but not have security. Not necessarily financial security. I mean, I think there's a lot of con people who have financial success, but don't have financial security because they're going to get caught, right?
Sure.
Or there's people who are frauds who have financial success, but not the security, because it can be gone at any moment the minute they get caught. I think feeling security doesn't necessarily have to mean success, because security is feeling comfortable with what you have coming in and with your normal spending habits. So for everyone that would be different. That's a different threshold for everyone. It totally depends on your lifestyle and what you see yourself, I guess, living with. Whereas financial success, I think a lot of people have a pretty Hollywood version of that in their heads. We all see Shark Tank. We all see Hollywood movie star people with Kardashians, and I don't know if everyone has that particular version, but I think that's a pretty widely accepted version of financial success, is having a big mansion house that's makes your dreams come true in a material.
This very common, right?
Yeah.
But of course, a lot of people don't actually own that stuff. They own the bank. They owe the bank, right?
Yeah, most people have a lot of debt.
Not a lot of success there. Actually, one of my mentors would say, if you buy anything on credit that isn't bringing you in more money, that is not a successful thing. Not at all.
Nope.
So there you go, financial success. So great answers. That's pretty smart. That was very nice.
Thank you.
I'll add a couple things for the listeners. So financial security, you pretty much said it doesn't exist. Not just for the con people, but for everybody.
Interesting.
Because tomorrow we could wake up and the markets could not exist. It could crash. There could be a war. There could be a pandemic. The internet could stop working. You could die. I could die. And then the con, like someone could steal our money. There's so many things that can happen spontaneously. They just don't happen. They haven't happened much in our country, North America, recently. So we're not used to it. We think, oh, that would never happen. But actually, it can.
But what about those people, like, like I think of them as like wanderers or nomads who live in their van, and they usually have nothing, and they just kind of like make stuff on the go, like knitting, and they sell it when they get to their little beach spot, and then they like move on to the next town. Like, they don't necessarily have financial security, but they don't have anything to lose. So they just kind of keep going. Don't they have a form of financial security, not really having anything to lose and not really having any expectations for gain?
I love what you just said there. Let's talk about it. So this is, for people listening, this is real deal here. So if someone is doing that kind of lifestyle and they're authentically living in the moment, they're ooey gooey, right? They're love. Well, that's the best thing you could get. That's better than financial securities. If you got that, do that, right? Now, sometimes there's some folks who use that way of living as their scapegoat to not actually dealing with life and being creative and getting involved with human society. I can't tell who is who, and I don't want to. They know deep down. So that's for them to consider. And that's their own trauma in a different respect, right? So that's what I think about your question. There are so many people doing that. It's all a little different.
There are. I've known quite a few of those people, and I've thought about it. Like, are they really living financial freedom, or are they escaping responsibility? Are they, like, that's really the question. And then, for all the people that have responsibility that can't escape it, I would love to get a gypsy wagon or build a gypsy wagon and like pack up my instruments and hop in it and just travel the country and do whatever the heck I wanted. I got kids. Yeah, that's not happening. That's irresponsible. That's what that would be. So how do people with a lot of responsibilities live in that moment, in that ooey gooey moment?
Good question.
And, when you have all these, like, children rely on me for their nurturing, for their education, for their stimulation, for their, nutrition, for, I need to be the everything for them. So there's very little space to be in the moment in the way that I used to before I had children. Like, being in the moment would be, I suddenly have this intuition to go to Venice Beach, walk down the beach. I meet this person that I felt really strongly drawn to. I talk to them. I have a great conversation. Suddenly there's an opportunity arising from that interaction. But with kids, I'll have that intuition. I need to go do this one thing, but I've got my kids. I'm doing their homework with them. I can't just up and leave in the middle of doing homework and go follow my intuition God knows where. Oh, I feel like going to Canada today. I can't. My kids got school.
Yep. So out of all the things you just said, what's most important to you?
I mean, I was mostly wondering how do you stay in the moment in those moments, but what's the most important?
That's good. Yeah.
My children are probably the most important thing. Besides, I have to take care of myself, take care of them, right? So taking care of them, making sure they have all of their needs met is the most important thing. I would love to have that financial security, financial success. I want to feel on top of my game.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If that was the case, if you developed that financial security, financial success, for real,
yeah,
who would you be?
So the person, I'd still be myself. I would just have more, I guess, more responsibilities, more commitments that I'd have to meet.
That's not true, but that's obviously your belief right there. You might want to write that down.
All right.
Yeah, you obviously have a belief that more money means more responsibility.
Well, where I see myself is like being on stage, talking, like public speaking, or Like
Yeah.
that's I don't know if that's necessarily, I guess I don't really know who, I don't think I would change as who I am. Um,
We're always changing every
I'd
day a
have
little bit.
more stuff maybe. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
think my belief of I don't think my personality would change based on my income. I think I would feel less anxious. I would feel less anxious. I would feel less of a need to prove myself,
sure.
to um I guess present myself as someone who has already made it when I don't feel like I've made it. Like my
Sure.
mom always pretended like she was, I've got this, when she never really had it. So I've had to learn to do the same thing. I've got this. I don't got this, you guys.
Yeah.
So I would love not to have to pretend. I would love to feel like I actually have this, that I have made it to a place where I did it for myself. I
Yeah.
made it for myself. I don't have to rely on anyone but myself. You know, I'm the master of my own universe.
hmm Okay. There's a
That's
lot
what's
there,
up.
my friend.
I
There's a
know, I'm
lot.
sorry.
Luckily, I took it all in. This is what I do
Good, good.
professionally. Yeah, it's very normal. Definitely a lot. Wow. Okay, so we're talking to our audience about financial security and financial success and the ooey gooey.
Mm,
And you just basically are declaring you have a deep desire to get over the hill, over the hump of like lack into security. But
hmm
right,
I'm
so
on
the
the
reason,
cusp. I
I
can
sense that you're
feel
on the
it.
cusp. Yeah.
I
So
can feel the
you got to get
cusp.
those two books. You got to read those two books
Okay.
for sure. Like guaranteed. Like I could try to walk you through it and be like, feel this and then do this and take a bath and then sing this song. And I could, but you just get the books.
Take a
Get
bath
the,
and sing the song. That sounds like some kind of priestess ritual. What are you trying to get me
uh,
into?
well,
Is
what
this
I'm
a
trying to say
cult?
is, yeah, well, everything's genes and 9 to 5 is a cult, right? So basically, you know, inside is a lot of energy
Hmm.
and the energy composition creates our matrix. And to alter the matrix, we have to change the inside. That's what they call alchemy, right? Back in the
Yeah.
day, turning lead into gold was a metaphor,
Yes.
turning the internal crap into beauty. So that's what you got to do. To you or anyone listening who wants to break through, you got to do it. I still do it every day. My God, sometimes I'm sitting down in my chair going, what the, sometimes I'm just not too often, not like I
You
used
hear
to. Of
that, you guys? Somebody who's made it to success still wonders WTF, sitting in a chair.
course.
We're all normal. We got this.
Of course. Yeah, no, my friend, it's yeah. Yeah. So hold on, let's back up. So you got the two
Yes.
books, the alchemy, right? Moving the
Hmm.
energy on the inside is an effort, it takes a lot of work, but it's better than not doing it. But the whole singing in the bathtub thing is just a joke, but it's a way of saying there are processes that alchemize or change our insides so that the outside changes automatically. And it's
Certain
the
routines.
routines. Yeah, you can say it like that. But you do the two books, they'll give you what you need
Okay.
in that way.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about the finding that financial success and what that would feel for me, right?
Sure.
What was it for you? When you were under that apple tree and you were, didn't really have much to do and you were contemplating your place in the universe and what success meant to you. What was success to you? And have you reached that for yourself, for your mission here?
Um, I haven't reached financial success in terms of my goals in that way. No, not even close. But the feeling around it is absolutely very close, if not there.
Mm,
Totally, right? Totally. And I've done tons of work on that feeling stuff, tons and tons of work.
okay.
Okay, so that's so the feelings are there. The money, I got money. I got more money now than I ever had, right? I got more
So is
freedom.
visualizing where you want to be right now in the present moment, like the way you're talking about feeling what it is over there, right? Like I know what you're talking about, but are you sitting in that feeling most of the time so that you can attract that? It's like
Yeah,
a
okay.
meditation of
Okay, yeah.
where I want to be. I'm going to feel
Yeah,
that in my
yeah,
body and
yeah.
attract that. Is that what you're doing?
So I'm going to give you the inside scoop here,
Okay.
you and your people. So this is one of the important elements that most people say no to. And usually you're going to say no to it very subconsciously, and you're going to justify it with some totally reasonable thing that you tell yourself, but you'll never do it. Okay. Here's what it is. You have to activate what's called the law of association. The old saying is, you will become the 5 people you spend most of your time with. Okay. Another saying is, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Okay, there's some great catchphrases that explain the same law. It's always the same. Nonetheless, here's what it comes down to, my friend. You or anyone watching this, and this is what I did. You're asking me kind of how I got here. This is what I did. I had to make a list of who are my closest friends. Who do I spend the most time with? Mm-hmm. Not who do I like the most. I mean, time, like exposure time, right? And I made that list of friends. I'm like, none of them are financially wealthy. None of them, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm breaking the law of association. And by the law of physics, just like gravity, I will never transcend my current financial situation if I still spend the same time with those people. So I chose to break out of that mold and find people who are financially successful, regardless of my beliefs, my thoughts, and my self-image. And I took the time to become friends with them. Remember at the beginning, I said, I had to get creative and I borrowed some money. And you're like, well, what if you don't have? I could only do that because 7 years earlier, I decided to shift my friends. And it took years, but now I've developed a network of millionaires and friends with lots of options. Okay. It took years, and more importantly, immense amounts of discomfort, feelings of rejection from people around me, feelings of rejection inside myself, and all the other terrible, squishy feelings of awkwardness that most people never want to touch.
Oh yeah.
So I went through all of that and changed my association. And that is the real leverage and philosophy I followed more than any other to get where I'm at.
And did you ever feel, like I have a set of friends. Do I spend a lot of time with them? Well, not necessarily. I spend more time at home with my family. But, the idea of cutting people that I've been friends with since preschool or high school out of my life just because they have yet to elevate their lives in a way that I would like to. I mean, that I like those people. I'm not a judgmental person. How they want to spend their time's up to them.
Yep.
But did you feel a sense of loss or a little bit of grief when having to cut people out of your life like that?
So I'm gonna carefully, intentionally answer that because it's very touchy but good subject.
I apologize for the touchy subject, but I mean, I'm curious because if I were to take your suggestion seriously, I don't mean it's touchy like I can't talk about it. I would hurt.
Yeah, no, this is why I said this is the one that most people won't do. Mm-hmm. And it's the one where the voice in your head is going to totally justify why you're not going to do it, which is exactly what you just did. Mm-hmm. Right? 100% normal. Now, notice how quickly our North American brains revert to, we'll have to cut these people out. No one said that but you. I didn't say that.
Okay.
All you got to do is adjust
the time.
So adjust the time. I didn't love my old friends any less. And they had my phone number. They want to call me, they can call me. I'm right here. I still call them. I send them a Christmas card every year. Still do. Once in a while, we jump on a Zoom and tell them I love them. Right. Mm-hmm. So I didn't cut anybody out. Actually, I just got some new influences and made them closer. And that's
you
all
shifted your focus.
Totally shift the focus. No cutting, no scissors came out, which removes any of whatever you just try to, stop yourself with.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense. So it's more of a time management skill with increasing your associations.
That's a great way to put it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that is doable for all people.
Totally.
So let's say no, all of our listeners, none of them know a single millionaire. Where do they find these people? Where can we find some millionaire friends that actually want to spend time with us?
I'll answer this question. It's good. By the way, first of all, and this is what I've learned in my own life, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you're the first one in your friend group to break out of poverty thinking or mediocrity,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you take that courageous leap, the hero's journey, it may be awkward. It will be awkward. Okay, let's not joke around. It'll be awkward. But when you get there, you'll be a light for them. Okay? At first, they might be like, oh, so posh, hanging out with some rich person. Look at you doing business, all this shit. Yeah, this is what I got. Okay. And I didn't care. And now they're inspired. They respect. Yeah. And I tell them, you can do it too. There's no need to live paycheck to paycheck. You're way too creative. You're way too amazing. There's no need for you to waste your life doing a job you hate doing.
Yeah.
Right. And then they go, wow. Okay. So you become a beacon of like a model for others to watch. So anyhow, you're actually doing your people a favor in the long run, but it's awkward at first.
I'm just going to clarify for all those listeners out there going, I want my friends to be successful too. You don't carry your friends with you over the finish line. No enabling your friends. Don't drag them along. Right? You didn't drag your friends along.
No, I tried, but no, it didn't work. It made it worse. No, my friend, you have to find your spiritual independence. You have to find yourself, even with your family, right? You're obviously super, super, super close, but even you have to find rainbow time. What's Rainbow's God connection, abundance connection, breaking loose from the money game thing? You're in your own game by yourself like that.
Yeah.
But you asked a nice question, so I want to touch on that. Where do you find them? Good question. This is a good podcast. If someone's listening to this and going to actualize on this information, they will look back and go, that was a good episode. Okay, here we go. The question isn't where, right? So you scratch that one off the notepad. Doesn't matter where. They're everywhere.
It's recognizing the clothes, you guys. I'm just teasing.
No. A lot of millionaires wear very regular people clothes very intentionally, actually. And they drive
so they all shop
cars.
At Walmart?
I don't know. But this being seen in that way is not always what they want. The attention after a while gets old, right? So
okay.
Going out into public, I know a lot of people drive regular cars because they don't want to be seen and pointed, targeted, all that stuff. No, the question you got to ask yourself is this. Again, it's a paradigm flipper for our Western egocentric minds. The question isn't where do I find them? It's how do I serve them? Right?
You got to get them coffee. You got to be the coffee boy for a while, right?
Isn't that so classic? Like such a North American belief. And it's so legit in the corporate setting, right? Legit in the corporate setting. I don't play in the corporate setting personally.
Either that or you have to have at least some good information to share in some aspect of life, right?
Luckily, everyone can attain it with the internet. No one is without. If you're watching this video, you're on the internet, my friends.
Yes.
So what are you good at, Rainbow?
Oh, too many things to list in the time that we have.
Top three.
Well, talking. I think I'm pretty funny. I mean,
funny.
I've been joking a lot. You're really easy to joke with. I'm really good at art. That's my opinion. I like my art.
Yeah.
I like my music, and I'm creative. I do creative things.
Good. I like all those. I want you to take a moment to really answer this one. What's your greatest gift to humanity?
I've had a lot of life experience.
Mm-hmm.
Not nice life experience. Like the stuff you see on Dr. Phil in several seasons, like a lot of seasons, is like my life experience, which is why I went into what I do. Really like helping people. And I have a lot of insight on where certain choices will lead people. Just based on the many, many life experiences I've had.
So either overcoming or avoiding adversity.
Right? Empowerment, a lot of empowerment, helping people realize that they're not these victims that we've all been kind of trained to believe we are.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sell as well, but it's the truth. But what
Hmm.
does sell is overcoming or avoiding adversity. That's what people
Hmm.
pay for. So that's something you're good at, something you're one of your gifts. So this is your coffee. This is how you serve coffee to these people. Let's put it that way, right? You learn to be comfortable doing what you do well, which is talking and laughing and helping people through adversity
Hmm.
with people who happen to make lots of money. Because guess what? They're the same as you and me. They have cardiac arrest. They have
Hmm.
toenails they have to clip. They fart. They sprain their ankle. They have emotions. Sometimes they hate themselves and they have negative thoughts. Like, there's no difference other than some freaking made up number digital bank account, which is irrelevant because we talked about financial security. It doesn't even exist.
Yep.
There's no difference. Everyone's the same.
The only difference is your mental perception of them and putting them on a pedestal that doesn't exist.
You are correct.
Mm.
So if you can take them off the pedestal, Ken
Hmm.
Honda, Robert Scheinfeld's books, you learn to take them off the pedestal and start to respect humanity for what it really is, which is equal.
Hmm.
You can spend time with poor friends, middle class friends, and wealthy friends. Just make sure you spend 51% of your time with wealthy friends. And here's what I'm going to tell you.
At least five wealthy friends, you guys out there.
Yeah,
Get five wealthy friends and then spend 51% of your time with those friends. Everybody else can get the rest of your time.
you know, here's an important element is one, they don't have to be millionaires.
Okay.
It's people who make more than you.
Successful people.
Just people who make more than you. Find out how much you make and just make sure the five people make more than you do.
Okay.
Just start with that. But here's the second piece. I've learned through direct experience and in my own way living it, you could say, not everybody, because there's the Hollywood crap would get sold, but most people who've made it in life and have a lot of money, unless they inherited it, which is not much percentage of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Most people who've made cash real deal in life by being of service somehow are the best people. They're open-minded, they ask good questions, they're patient, they listen, they're good-tempered. Because if you don't have those qualities, you can never make it to the top because getting rich is a long game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I've experienced most people being phenomenal human beings. And I learned that having them as friends is exceptionally easy because they're freaking
Mm.
great.
I
So
bet they
we get,
respect your time. I bet they really are good at keeping boundaries and respecting boundaries.
and if they're not, that's what you can teach them.
Mm.
And all of a sudden they like you. Wow, what's this boundaries thing? So like I seriously, not even kidding, they're good at crunching numbers and selling widgets or whatever they do, but they don't know how to feel their heart chakra. But they want to, but they don't know that they want to, but they want to. Someone's
Mm.
got to tell them. If you're not going to tell them, they're going to spend their whole life without that experience because we're too freaking scared to expand our personal identity.
Mm. Mm. Wow. Well, we talked about a lot of things, and I really grilled you today. I tried to catch you off guard. I think I did once or twice, but I really appreciate your genuine, going really deep into these issues, these questions, and giving the listeners as much information as you can to give them a leg up on their own finances, giving them some good suggestions. So, is there anything you want to share as like final kind of advice or like an offering of some kind that would really just be I guess, the cherry on top for today's episode?
Sure. Um, you know, if you're listening to this, I'd spend money on Rainbow's programs. Let's help her get rich because she's awesome.
Oh,
Hmm.
thank you.
Yeah. And, you know, being able to live in the moment, the ooey gooey Eden, learning to come from love, to purify negative thoughts, which is a long process, harder than getting rich usually. That's more important than anything.
Hmm.
So I could lose all the money in my house and my shirt, and I could have nothing. But if I had the capacity to feel love, self-respect, live in the moment, all those principles, I would take that every time, no matter what. So money is just a fun game. If you go do the Busting Loose from the Money Game book, you'll find out it's just a game. It's a total joke. It's not even real, and it's fun to play. But in the end, it doesn't actually matter.
Oh, I love that. It takes just even that last thing, like money's not even real, it's just a game, kind of like Monopoly, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can feel the stress that I put on myself just evaporate into thin air.
Good.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say is, because it's just so true. It's all about self-worth, right? Self-worth. I'm worth it. I'm worth living. I'm worth breathing. I'm worth not feeling stressed. That's the most important one. I'm worth enjoying this amazing thing called creation. Creation is worth it. Creation wants me to enjoy it. That's why it made me. And if I'm stressed and caught up in the game and not playing, I can't enjoy creation. Creation can't enjoy me enjoying it. The whole thing fails. It's just a big F, total fail. So it's worth these resources like these books, listening to people like Rainbow, and never quitting on this path because you're worth it. It's worth it.
I'm giving you snaps. That was so poetic. So awesome. So where can our listeners reach you if they really want to know more of your secrets? You do like classes and talks and stuff and one-on-one, right?
Yeah. A little bit. I do some of that.
A little bit.
I try to stay off the internet. Used to be a lot of crazy social media and stuff, and I've got other priorities. But I do love people.
If I knew how to step away more, I would get rid of all the computers. I need a tech break for real.
You should take one. Even 6 hours goes a long way. 24 hours goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a website. It's my name. People can go to www.matthewlearning.com, Matthew 2T's learning.com, and technically book a free consultation there. Now, if people are listening to this and they are smart, they will start improving their association, and they'll think, maybe this Matt guy, maybe he could be one of my 5, right? Now, I'm going to play hard to get, but that's part of the game.
Hey, you guys, I got dibs. Got to him first. I'm teasing. I'm sorry.
No. This is how it goes, my friend. So, because a lot of successful people know the law of association is so important. So when you start to reach up to people and serve or show up or whatever it is, even a smile is service. Like, you don't have to give people coffee. Just be a genuine person. People at the top know, oh yeah, here comes someone. I can tell. Here comes a young up-and-comer, sort of like, let's see if they've got the grit. When I reject them, do they ring the doorbell again? Right? When I say, no, I'm too busy, do they call me back anyways?
Persistence.
That grit and persistence, incredibly important, because if you take one rejection and you're like, oh, I tried and they said, no, I'm too busy. Well, it's not, persistence.
So wait. I really like that you touched on this. So successful people say no as a test, a subconscious test maybe, but really where we think we're respecting their no, we're respecting their boundary, we really should just harass them more.
Yeah, absolutely. Master the art of loving harassment. Yes.
Okay. So no means yes in land of money.
No. Because people don't say no.
Keep trying.
No. See, don't turn it into that. See.
Okay.
If someone says a hard no,
okay,
it's a hard no. But if people say, "Oh, I'm too busy," that's not no. That's the test. Okay. Oh, I call my assistant. There's all these things. If people say no, do not call me. Yeah, don't call them. But most of the time, people don't say no because they're not actually saying no. They're just making sure that
you want it.
They're making sure you want it. Otherwise, they're wasting their time. There's too many people who just ask once, oh, please help me. Well, I could help anybody. Why should I help you? Oh, because I have a commitment for greatness. Because the world needs me, because it's suffering, and I bring health and love to the world. That's why you're going to let me hang out with you. Whoa. Okay, now I'm touched. I'm inspired. come into my office, or let's go to the park. Now we can talk because you've got some grit. It's not just selfishness.
Awesome. I think that's a great note to end on. You shared so many incredible tips. Our top 5 friends, top 5 friends, 51%. We've got persistent, loving harassment, because I really like how you phrased that. For making sure that we let them know that we really want it, that we want their friendship, that we want their mentorship, that we are committed to serving them, serving the community, serving ourselves. And then all of those wonderful, the book recommendation, like you gave us so much. This is a golden episode. I might even just call it the golden episode, because why not? Made of gold. This is great. Thank you, Matthew, for all of this. This has been such a pleasure to have you on.
It has been a pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you all for listening and tuning in. I hope you guys got as much out of this episode as I did. I will be leaving all of Matthew's links and information in the description below. Once again, a hard no means a hard no, but you are welcome to reach out to him and, connect and ask your questions, because he has so much wisdom to share. I can tell. I'm going to be tapping in, and he's going to be one of my friends, hopefully, if he says yes, right? And I hope you guys start implementing some of these tools in your life, that you guys really start applying these new perspective shifts into your day-to-day life so you can make the most of 2022. Because I really wanted this episode to be our first month episode so you guys can change your life and your finances, because everybody struggles with finances. So I hope you guys love the episode. Keep ascending together. Have a good day, guys. Bye.
Are you ready to ascend to the next level? This is Rainbow Raaja, your spirit guide calling. Please be sure to keep all arms and legs inside your vessel at all times. I'm just here to remind you to take some time today support Rainbow's Rising podcast. Go, join the Discord community, check out the Patreon, get some stickers, custom tarot cards, check out the merch. You know you want to. Go connect with Rainbow Raaja. Maybe even get a session. Who knows? Your support helps make this show possible. And she loves to support you. Help support her too. Once again, this is Rainbow Raaja, your spirit guide, guiding you to your ascension.